if you are a post person and you're doing laborious menial tasks, you're going to start to not like the process. So our tool kind of flips all of that menial tasks on its head, and it allows you to have a creative, fun time doing it. And I think that's really what it's about. Dataclay is a company. We make software that automates post-production tasks. It also automates a lot of motion graphics tasks. And it's essentially a huge time saver for people working, creating content.
I don't want to be difficult, but everybody that makes software is automating software to simplify tasks, and everybody is advertising that they are a time saver. That is not particularly a highly descriptive definition. What is it that Dataclay does?
Our primary product is a software called Templator for Adobe After Effects. And what it does is it allows authors to map external data from a spreadsheet or an API to layers inside of their video composites, so that the post producer or the motion graphics designer can create many iterations of a master composition. And Templator essentially outputs many variants of a master based on the external data. So if you have a need to create personalized messaging with video, or localized ad campaigns, or you are working at a live event and you have a lot of guests and they need a lot of branded graphics for the signage. These are just some use cases of where our software is used to speed up the reversioning and the rendering of After Effects projects.
That is extremely cool.
Yes, thank you.
But can it be run by mere mortals? I mean, I've got to have database knowledge, and I've got to have protocol knowledge, and I mean, how to help?
Yeah, we approached this issue as a UX, user experience issue, and everything about this product is designed from the perspective of being in the bay, doing the groundwork of producing. And so I would say from a human-centered design perspective, I feel like our product really, really shines. So you talk about they need to not have knowledge of database, they need to have all this other knowledge that may not be particularly useful to post-production. But in fact, it's very easy to do. It's a very point-and-click way of going about connecting data.
Okay, let me interrupt for a second.
Sure, yeah.
Can I take an Excel spreadsheet and say, these are the things, this is the object, this is the image file, this is the name of it, this is the price. It's an Excel spreadsheet. Does Dataclay allow me to move that spreadsheet data into After Effects? Is it that
100%.
easy?
It is that easy, and it's point and click. And it's effectively like what is known as, you remember mail merge?
Yep.
Right? It's mail merge, but for video.
That is cool.
So it introduces some new things you have to think about, like time. What happens if in one iteration of your master comp, a footage layer is 2 seconds, but in the next iteration, it's 10 seconds? What happens to all the surrounding graphics, all the ins and outs and all of that? So we developed a patented workflow, we patented, of having authors set up intelligent rules to have layers react to where layers are in time. So all of the layers that are kind of following an anchored footage layer can reconfigure. They actually shift in time, they cut in time. So a designer who's building an ad that might be in different languages, and when you translate things into different languages, some languages it takes a long time to say something, some languages it's really quick. So the system that we built, this Templator product, it will reconfigure the layers automatically without having any human operation involved. And so that helps when you're talking about batch versioning and batch processing.
Is it affordable?
100%. I mean, I was in the ditch myself. I know what it's like to be, in the grunt work, doing the actual work, and I know the budgets that are involved, especially for, individual content creators, small teams. So there's a perpetual license for $70. So it's great for, when you might have dailies. It might be great for when you have a need to just see the graphics without having to have a creator actually like do every one, right? They have a template, the media is tagged as such, and then that data is surfaced as a text layer or a footage layer or something like that. So it's one of these things where it's using the computer vision technology to find out what's in the video, and then our software is able to take what it found out and surface it, visualize it. And it allows you to map the data to the layers, right? And it allows you to preview that data. Like you can literally click, and as you click, you see in your After Effects composition viewer how that data for each iteration is going to look before you even do a whole flight, like a render flight, right? So that costs $70. You get free updates. We support, a limited support via email. If the end user has a desire to do the automation of the output beyond the previewing of the data, we have a new product that we call the Q meter. And what it is it allows you to buy credits for every output that you want. So if you're doing a live event and you know that you have 300 assets that you need to get done, we're not going to charge a subscription for that. So we realize that the end users, they need a way to get all of the features of our software for a very cheap price, and that's what this Q meter is. You buy credits, and as Templater creates output, those credits start to decrement until they go to zero. When they go to zero, you don't have those automation features anymore, but you can always refill. You can top off new credits. So that, for your audience, I think that is a particularly great thing because they can finally get this kind of reversioning automation in their edit bay, in their workstation, and they don't have to break their bank. Now, if they decide, after seeing the power of this force multiplier of production, they decide that they're like, I'm going to start doing a business out of this. I'm going to make this an offering for my business. Maybe they're a small ad agency. Maybe they're just a small post house. They can subscribe. And we have two levels of the subscription. One is $225 a month. That gives you automation, unlimited outputs. The other one is $450 a month. That's really meant more enterprisey. That is when you want to create a system that's always on and that's watching the data source. And as new data comes into the data source,
folder.
Yeah, as the data comes in, new content goes out. So that's when the $450 per month is when you know you're setting up like a website and you have users entering a web form, and that data from that web form needs to get into the video like that.
Can I subscribe for just a short period of time?
Absolutely.
Got a campaign that runs for 2 months.
We don't do any lock-ins. It's not helpful for us. So if somebody's like, I don't know exactly how many I need, how many outputs I'm going to actually need for an event or a project, they can buy for 1 month. That's unlimited. And then at the end of the month, they just turn off the subscription. So we don't do any lock-ins like that. And I think that's what part of what separates us is the licensing model, how we go about doing it.
You get 2 pats on the back for that. That is very cool.
Thank you.
What have you got that's new with the show?
We have a product that's in beta, and it's called Projector. And after Templater creates output automatically, it will take the output and deploy it. It will send it to like Amazon S3 to store it. It will send it. We have a deep integration with Vimeo, so it will actually put the videos that Templater is creating ready for stream. That's a big deal because what we found is the customers were like, great, I have 1,000 videos, now what? And so we were developing these bespoke solutions for these customers, and we eventually productized it into this thing called Projector. And the idea is that it projects the content for recipients to view it. So that's new. That's coming out of beta shortly after this show, so it's going to be available. And we're totally looking forward to solving that problem and having an end-to-end solution where we have data coming in and the content being distributed. And then beyond that, we have something called Dataclay Synthesizer. This is to synthesize data that makes sense for the project that the author of the template is working on. So let's say you're a sports guy and you got to do a sports template for a score bug or some player stats, right? So you have to actually create the data. to preview to see how it's all going to work when you hit go, right? So that's a lot of work to create the data, to structure the data, to make sure the data is clean. Like all of that stuff, it takes work. You got to find the right resource. So we're using AI to generate synthetic data for specific purposes. So you can type into a prompt in this Dataclay synthesizer. You say, I need all the NBA scores from 2024, and I want to have the team, home, winner, and I want to have the venue it was played. I want to have, all this data about the games. And it just, you sit back, you hit go, and then the whole spreadsheet is filled with data that actually makes sense. It might not be real, and we mark it as not being real. Like we actually display when it's finished, it says, this is not real data. This is synthesized. You can't use this in production. But it helps the artist get started with this idea of dynamically data-driven video.
So it builds like a spreadsheet template.
Yeah. And you can use it uses AI, the whole prompting thing that we're doing now. It uses that to, get what the author wants.
If you were to summarize in one paragraph the key features of Dataclay for someone that hasn't used it,
it enables you to get data into your After Effects projects. It allows you to create a lot of unique content very quickly. And it is one of the only companies that I think has the best support in this space of data-driven video. A lot of our competitors, they're great. They have a lot of cool things. But a lot of what they're doing is in the cloud, and it's black boxed. And you don't necessarily know who to talk to if things go awry, or it's maybe not a human on the end of the line. So we pride ourselves on providing actual human support to our users, and I hope that never goes away. But I think that in essence, you'll get it's a force multiplying software. So end users will feel like they got their lives back. It's not just about time, Larry. It's also about the creative juice. If you are a post person and you're doing laborious menial tasks, you're going to start to not like the process. So our tool kind of flips all of that menial tasks on its head, and it allows you to have a creative, fun time doing it. And I think that's really what it's about. I think that's what it's about.
Arie, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me, Larry. It's really great to be here.